Yo, it's your man Jam C.
What up? It's your roving reporter, your girl Sha Money.
And it's your man Lou Bim.
Also known as LLB. He got a new tagline, people. He came up with fresh, hot, off the presses this week. That's what he has ordained us to call him this week.
And it's befitting to our guests as well.
Absolutely.
Special guest here. We are on location today in the great city of Newark. Brick City, where we all hail from. Brick City. So we are here today with Dupre Kelly. And if you do not know who he is, you will find out before this segment is over. So we're going to punt over to our guy, LLB, to take us through his bio, keep us up to speed. So don't forget, check your emails, hit us up. Jan Wicked, they hit us up.
Goin Vocal at gmail.com. That's GOINVOCAL at gmail.com. Spelling Bee King.
Oh, from Queen of Angels. We still have yet to find his championship. So if you out there and you know about Jan being in the spelling bee, hit us up because we need to put this to rest. And listen, we know some of y'all been sending y'all baby pictures in. We done told y'all to stop sending your baby pictures in. Stop. We're not going to take no more baby pictures, but continue to send the great feedback. Absolutely. Shout out to our people in Alabama who have been joining the show. Our people out in the 242. We don't take it lightly that you take time out of our week. So continue to send us all that feedback. And Lou, hit us up. Let us know who we talking to today.
Also, too, them baby pictures, I am not the father. Please stop it.
The show bears no responsibility.
For that at all.
We are not turning this into Maury. The
black version would be Corey.
Corey.
No garnishing any wages here, so stop sending the pictures.
17.5%.
It's not enough. But today we are. We have the pleasure to have Dupre Kelly, aka Do It All.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Right. So Dupre Kelly grew up in West Ward of Newark, New Jersey, at a time when public school system was offering after-school activities to enrich students' lives, and community-based organizations were providing high-value programs and services to families. He credited his success to these offerings and the people who poured into him as entrepreneur, philanthropist, and would-be public servant. He seeks offer his neighbors similar empowering experiences and opportunities for advancement. He graduated from 13th Avenue Elementary School and Newark Tech High School.
We won't hold that against him that he went to Newark Tech. We won't hold that against him.
Dupre became a professionally known as Do It All, one-third of the legendary Platinum Award-winning hip-hop group Lords of the Underground, while attending Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina. Having traveled the world touring with Lords of the Underground and making a name for himself while rapping about Brick City, Dupre decided to give back to the community through a nonprofit organization, 211 Community Impact, which is...
Some minor correction.
Is that like French? Dupre?
Dupre, yes.
I
was cringing every time.
I was thinking of a street guy who made a lot of money.
What if I was calling you Law?
Law? Yeah. Well, that's the French way to say it. Law. Bill.
Yeah.
But sorry.
Dupre. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Nah, sorry.
And it's a list of community things that he's doing. I read this thing here. It says he gave over 90,000 pounds of food during the lockdown and COVID, which is
that's amazing.
Impressive.
Yes,
that is
very
amazing.
Impressive, and thank you for your service. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let's get into what we came to do. Talking because we got lips.
Chat
Well, Dupre, that is a very impressive list of accomplishments. And I think it's also really important, and I wanted to do this interview because as being a native of Brick City, I think it's very important that we encourage other people, right? Because there's people that's going to watch this, not only in Newark, but all across the United States. We're fortunate enough to have viewers. So if you wanted to tell us just a little bit about that transition, we've heard all about your career, which was very inspiring. I know I was a fan, a local here. But what was the tipping point for you, if you will, to say you wanted to really jump into public life and public service to give back to the Newark community?
I didn't know I really did it all. It started First of all, I'm in a jokey mood today, and
I love it. I love it.
So pardon me, but
No,
I
I
just
love
feel
it.
all giddy, but
No, I think that's great.
Let me give a disclaimer. You know, our platform is non-judgmental. We want you to have fun at the same time. You know,
and be your authentic self.
That's it.
I always have to be. That's why I had to come out and say it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you sitting. I mean, I grew up joking with that guy on the end all the time. So.
yeah.
But no, I know we being serious, but you know, to be honest, when I was a teenager, you know, I met this brother by the name of Hafiz Fareed. Jam, you know him very well. And he became a mentor in my life. And, you know, as you get older, you don't realize, well, I know for me, I didn't realize all of the great things that he was teaching us.
Okay.
You know, and teaching me as a youngster. And as becoming an adult, I realized that he was always teaching us to be, you know, involved in your community, to be involved, to be who you say you are. You
Okay.
know? And so by saying that, I'm really saying that I've always been in the community, not really giving it a title, not really putting a name to it, but we've always been in the community. The first person I've ever canvassed with or knocked on doors to get flyers with it's because of Hafiz Fareed, and it was for a councilman by the name of Ralph T. Grant Sr. Neil, I know you remember him.
Absolutely.
You know, so we thought we were just helping out. Hafiz Fareed was a aide. I believe he might have even been chief of staff for Ralph Grant Sr., Councilman Ralph Grant Sr., Dr. Reverend Ralph Grant Sr. So I was doing this before I even knew actually what I was doing.
Wow.
You know, and that comes from the tutelage of this brother Hafiz Fareed by just and he never was the guy who pointed the finger at you like you have to do this or you have to do this. He was the type of guy who would pose questions to you. Okay. You know, he would ask you if you wear Newark hat or Newark on your shirts. He would ask you, "When's the last time you did something for Newark?"
Wow, just call you out like that.
Yeah, and it would be a question though, and then you like,
"Facts."
You'll get in your. I know I got on my feelings. What you mean? I'm from Newark. What are you talking about?
That's how we do.
Right. Even down to the music with Lords of the Underground. You know, Lords of the Underground. We never really, you know, said B's and called girls out of their names in our music. And one of the main reasons was because of Hafiz Fareed. I remember us saying in the studio with Marley one time, and he was in the session, and I think we might have said a B word in the record, and we asked Hafiz, who was our manager at the time, how did you like it? Like how did that sound? I was like, it's cool. He was like, but play that other part back, and then he kept playing it back, and it was like, you know, the B, and then he was like, well, who you talking about? Your mother?
I mean,
and then you be like, whoa, what you mean I'm talking about my mother? You're like, oh, my bad, who you talking about, your grandmother?
But it makes you think.
And then, exactly. So he wasn't telling you not to do it. And then he would say, you see how that just made you feel? You see how that made you react? You know, even you got to be saying it for a point, or some women out there are going to feel disrespected. So if you're not saying it to prove a point and it's direct, then why use it? Challenge yourself to use something else.
I like that.
Facts.
I like that.
Absolutely.
And that's just a tip of, you know, I'm not even sure if I answered the question.
No, you did. You did.
You know, that's one of the reasons why, you know, that I grew into actually doing what I'm doing now.
Awesome. Jam, you got some questions you want to throw out?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. All right, you live. I know where you live, but for people who don't know, what ward you live in New Jersey?
You guys are on site right now, and first of all, I just want to thank y'all, man. If you're not going vocal, then you might not going places.
You heard it here, Dupre. You heard it here.
And right now, man, they came to the West Ward, so I thank you for going to the WestArd today.
All right, so
I know I may be voted out because I'm from the South Ward, so they
all
might be waiting for me when I get over there.
Being from the West Ward, what would you feel? What's the biggest need for your district?
I think revitalization and care, you know, and that's for everybody. You know, everybody is talking about big economic developments. If we put in these type of developments and development, which is cool. We definitely need brick and mortar, but in revitalization of our corridors and things of that nature. But for me, it's not just brick and mortar, because if you don't change the mindset of the individual,
now you talking.
If you
Now
don't
you talking.
revitalize the mindset of the people, it doesn't matter what you can build a 40-story mansion with malls
Absolutely.
and everything and make it all beautiful. But if you don't change the mindset of the people, it's going to be the same way in just a matter of time.
I've had this
Absolutely.
conversation with people because most of my family still does live in Newark, and we've always talked about it's a multi-layered approach.
Right.
It's not a one-size-fit-all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're canvassing your West Ward district, what are you hearing from your constituents? What are they saying to you? Dupre, we want to see more of this, less of this. What are you hearing directly from the constituents?
Well, see, we're in the West Ward. You know, we already know that there's 5 wards in Newark, period. You know, and that's why I show nothing but respect for our Mayor Raz Baraka, because he has to deal with 5 wards, let alone the parts that are in each specific ward. So us being in the West Ward, it's 5 parts of the West Ward. You know, you have the Roseville Avenue section, which is you have to speak Spanish in.
Yep,
You know?
I lived at 172 Roseville Avenue.
Right, so you definitely understand what I'm talking about. And it's not just about communication, but it's about the comprehension of that communication. You know what I mean? Because I can speak Russian to you right now and be telling
Wouldn't
you
mean
some
much.
great, wouldn't mean much.
Yeah, wouldn't mean much.
You know what I mean? So it's about the comprehension of that communication. And in Roseville, you have to be able to know that where you're going, where you're at, so you can communicate to those people and so you can understand those people.
Okay.
And then, you know, we have the Fairmount District, and what we consider this the Fairmount District where we are right
Yes.
now. You know, the Fairmount District is really trying to make a move. They're building great houses, and, you know, you have the Urban League who's building some great development here. You have Vivian Frazier, who's building great development around these areas. Then you go up into the number block area, which we call the west side section.
Yeah.
So most of the west side section comprises of number blocks.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go to Lower Velsburg. Lower Velsburg is
Now tell me, break that down, because when you say Lower Velsburg, what do you mean?
And you know, I don't even like to say lower anymore, because I think that gives a
Negative
a
connotation.
negative connotation to it.
So
You know what I
Bradley
mean?
Court, would that be considered like
Yeah, Bradley
Court?
Court, like right from Velsburg Park, where Velsburg Park
Okay.
starts, on up to, let's say,
Dover?
Sanford.
Okay, Sanford. Okay.
You know, Sanford Avenue. So that was considered lower Velsburg, but you know, some of the constituents say that too. The people that they don't like to use lower, but that's the way that we, you know, identified it. So, and then you go. The next part is Ivy Hill, which is Upper Velsburg. That's where the most homeowners in Newark, New Jersey live.
Really?
Yeah. You would think it's the North
Oh.
Ward,
That's what I
you
was
know,
thinking.
but
Wow.
the most homeowners are in the West Ward, in Velsburg,
Wow.
Ivy Hill section, and
Long-time homeowners.
long-term homeowners.
Wow.
And you know, they want different things. So being that we have these 5 different parts, Roseville Avenue, they just want to be included. You know, because they've been attached to the North Ward in the Spanish-speaking population for so long, they don't even know whose jurisdiction it is. They don't know when we have a problem if we should tell the North Ward Councilman, and we never even really met the West Ward Councilman. So they're in limbo. They just want to be included and
They're
be
trying
a
to
part.
figure out where they
Wow,
fit.
that's
Right.
heavy. I didn't even. That's
I
something
never knew that.
I didn't know.
I never knew
Yeah,
that.
and then you have the Fairmount District, like I said, where we are now. They just want the crime to stop. They want the murders to stop. They want the drug dealing to stop. You know, so that these great brick and mortar houses and properties that are being built can be can be up to par and be livable and safe. They want a quality of life to be different. When you go to the number blocks, they too also want to be included and not forgotten. When you're talking about over by Westside Park, coming over to over to Westside High School and the cemetery, and they want to be included, and they want to see the main vein be fixed. And that main vein is South Orange Avenue. Right? And we call it the main vein because it's one of the main corridors that run through our ward. So they want to see developments, they want to see apartments, they want to see all of those things happen. And some of those things are happening. You know, things didn't get messed up overnight, and it's not going to take overnight to fix it. Then you go to Velsburg. I'm trying to figure not to say lower, but you go to
Retrain your thinking,
Velsburg,
right?
And they want the crime to stop too. They want the business to be uniformed. You know, they want it to look like something when you coming up South Orange Avenue. They want it to be like you're entering a neighborhood that is of prestige and integrity and things. And I get it. They want the quality of life to be good. They want good relationships with the police. You know, those are the type of things that they want. And then when you get up into our posh neighborhood,
Right.
up into the Ivy Hill section, they want brighter street lights. They want the garbage men to not drop a piece of paper.
Right.
and
No,
pick
don't
it
throw
up.
their garbage can back on the
They want
lawn in
people
the
not
street.
to park on their streets who don't live there.
Okay.
So it's different. It's different. So when you ask
big
what,
challenge.
so when you, it's so many different parts. That's why the West Ward is a heavy lift, and I want all the people in the West Ward of Newark, New Jersey, to understand this. It's a heavy lift, so we can't expect myself or whatever elected official to do it by themselves.
Right.
We need everybody. We
Yes.
need the homeowners, the residents. We need the business owners. You know, we need our youth, and not with things that just interest us, but what interests them. We can't no longer believe. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, we can't no longer believe that if we just put a basketball court,
No,
if we
that's
put
not
a baseball
sufficient.
court,
Mhm.
then they're gonna come and that's
No.
cool. We did it for the youth. No, it's different nowadays. So we can't just think that way, and we have to also keep in mind our seniors who are transitioning. You know, transitioning from being homeowners, going into the senior buildings and the
Yeah,
senior
that's true.
homes, because it's a different type of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And if we claim that our children and our youth are the future, then we got to create opportunities that we had, and opportunities that are better than us, and prepare them for jobs that's not even created yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship, that's a big piece of
Right,
the
absolutely.
youth right now. I know when I was going to school, and maybe, you know, Jam, you're much older than all of us.
Just a little. Just a little bit.
They weren't really focused on entrepreneurship. But now that's a big focus, because with the pandemic, we see that a lot of our traditional roles were pruned down or eradicated. So a lot of people have sparked up with these businesses, and they've had a lot of time to be creative. So you touched on one thing I want to piggyback off of and ask a little bit more, dive a little deeper in. You talked about the crime, and that's something that we hear a lot about, right? Mm-hmm. But we oftentimes don't hear what the engagement is with the Newark Police Department. Mm-hmm. What is their stance on crime? And, you know, what have you heard from the police department? How are they planning to address the crime? Because many people are saying, we want to leave Newark because we don't feel safe. How can we get people to continue to stay here, spend their dollars here, and invest here, and also feel safe about being in the city?
Well, one thing is that we have to realize overall, if you're looking at numbers, the crime in Newark has been the lowest it has been in 50 years.
Wow.
But any crime, any criminal activity always puts a bad light on.
Oh yeah, because it's one incident, they magnify it, right?
Magnify it. We have in the South Ward and in the West Ward, we probably have, I don't know, about we call them the hot zones.
Okay.
In those wards. All of the crime that's reported for Newark happens in these two wards, for the most part. Mm-hmm. But they're blown up, you know.
You hear Newark, and as a whole.
That's right.
And that's it.
Now, like I said, any crime is not a good thing, but it's not, you know, we have to look at our police force, right? We don't really have what we used to have, and we don't have what other cities have and other states have, and that's the police brutality that really faces a lot of other cities. It doesn't face Newark that way because of our leadership, because of Raz Baraka, because of Mayor Raz Baraka. I'm not saying that people don't have their run-ins with the police. I'm not saying that, you know, you might get a rogue officer that does something stupid. But in 2021, not one police officer in Newark fired his weapon.
Wow.
Not one.
People,
Wow.
that's what we need to hear, because I know we get a lot of stuff off of social media, RLS media, and other media outlets, and you're not hearing these type of statistics. So we want to make sure that you're taking account of what you're hearing, and do your own homework.
Right,
Go to the police stations, find out who the police captain is in your ward. I know my grandparents did that, and we were laughing. We're like, oh, granddaddy and nana, they're really nosy. But it's really important that you know what's going on. You should know who your councilman is. If Dupre, if they don't know, if there's constituents out there who are on the fence, they don't know where they belong or where they fit in, where can they look on the city's website? Is there some other resource where they can look to find out, you know, who they should be contacting?
Yeah, I think
even more so, how they can get in touch with you.
I'll tell you that too. You know, I think first of all, know where you are. You know, and what I mean by that is if you live on 16th Street, know where you are. Where is 16th Street located? What ward is it located in? Who are your district leaders? You know, who's the people in your area? What district is that you live in?
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's say 16th Street. Let's say that is the 17th district,
Okay.
right? Or 15th district. You know, who is the chairperson or the president of the block association? And you have to know these things. Find out all of those things, you protect your block better. You find out more information. If that doesn't work, you go to the Newark website. You find out who's your councilman in that area.
Can you share that website for people in case they don't
I
know what
believe
it
it's
is?
Newark.org. You know, you can you can Google it. The Newark, New Jersey website. I believe it's www.newark.org. I believe it is.
Okay.
But go to the website and find out. And once you find out the area that you're in, then, you know, in my plan, right, I wrote a revitalization plan called the West Ward Revitalization Plan, and I'm the only candidate that actually, you know, took the time to write a plan out. And I thought it was important, not the be all end all, because these are just my ideas from talking to the residents and living here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it's a template. It's a blueprint for everybody in the West Ward to add on top of that, right? So in my plan, I talk about reorganizing and reactivating block associations.
Yeah, right? I remember that was big.
Yeah.
We were growing up, right, Lou?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you have Miss Williams, Miss Blocker, you know, Miss Way.
Yeah.
You have everybody looking out of the window, sitting on the porch, and they knew everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell you who's getting in trouble, who's starting stuff. They can tell you.
And they would tell.
You.
And
they would tell you.
And they will grab you and tell you, come
I was about to
here.
say, someone would enforce a little ass whooping.
That's
Yeah.
right.
A little pow pow.
Yes.
That's
A little
pow
pow
pow.
pow.
Yes.
Get a little
Uh-huh.
pow pow.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think, you know, that's important because there's numbers, you know, in numbers there's strength,
Yes.
right? And that will allow you, if you have 20 people, 50 people on your block, 30 people on your block, and they're all voters, the mayor will come to your house and come to your block and have a meeting. You don't have to go to City Hall.
Wow.
The councilman will come to your block and have a meeting. You don't have to go to City Hall. Because one thing people don't believe is that they don't believe that their vote is powerful. Your vote
That is
is
true.
powerful. And it can bring the elected officials out because the elected officials truly work for the taxpayers.
And I think that's missing, right? I don't think a lot of people realize how powerful their individual vote is. I think they're
It's a
really
misconception.
disenfranchised,
It's a misconception.
and they feel like, oh, if I don't
you know-
vote, if I'm not active, it doesn't matter.
I think some of that stems from not getting involved. I think a lot of times people say my vote doesn't matter, so they don't even try to take the step out. I think when you actually vote and you actually get more involved, you see where your vote is going.
Yeah.
You actually get to see
Yes.
the movement.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people they don't get involved like that. They just some people piggyback off that, if you will. Like some people may say, "Oh, my vote doesn't count, so why am I voting?" But you're not actively involved.
Right. But the downside is also true. You can't really have a stance to complain on if you have
Absolutely.
not even made any attempts.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I think Dude just made a very good point. Whereas though your vote does count, you hearing it from soon to be, hopefully.
Yay. From your
Councilman.
lips to God's ears.
Yes.
Right, we're gonna claim
That
it.
that your vote does count. It just it does matter. And then the more people that you can get in your neighborhood involved, the better it would be for just your block itself.
Let me give you an example. Won't say the lady name, but just a block in the West Ward, Pine Grove Terrace. And by me saying a block, I think everybody know what I'm talking about. That's in the West Ward. But we've been campaigning for almost 2 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tuesday it's over, and can't wait to get this.
We
win.
gonna celebrate on Tuesday.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But so during the campaign, long campaign, one day we went around her block and we spoke to every resident individually. And we put lawn signs and posters in people's windows,
Okay.
lawn signs on people's
And
lawns.
this is homeowners,
This
tenants,
is homeowners
whoever.
mostly,
Okay.
and residents too.
Okay.
And we kind of lit up the block, as we say, meaning that everybody said they were with us. I ran out of lawn signs, and I told this one resident, "I'll be back tomorrow to give you a lawn sign." And she said, "Okay." I come back the next day, all of the lawn signs are gone. And I said,
What
"Wait
happened?
a minute! Somebody, you have opponents that'll steal your signs." And,
Right, we've heard of
so
that.
you won't have visibility and all. I said, "Man, they done stole all our signs off. They done got the whole block." I went to this one lady. She was walking down the street and met me, and she said, "No, they didn't steal them. I told every resident to take your sign down."
Wow.
And I said,
Why?
I said, "Well, why would you do that?" She said, "Because I wanted to talk to you first." You see the power in
Powerful,
Wow,
yes.
that's a
Yes.
lot of influence.
Yes.
You see she made everybody on the block. Not that they wasn't with us.
Yeah.
I need to have a meeting with you
Wow.
And I
and the
respect
mayor.
that. I respect
I
that though.
super respect
You gotta
I
that.
salute
respect
to
that, though.
Wow.
I respect
That's
that.
crazy.
But that
Wow.
doesn't only have to be on that one block. That
Yeah.
can be done consistently throughout the
No, it
city.
seems like it should be done.
It should
Yes,
be done,
absolutely,
yeah. But I
yes.
think the missing piece is a lot of people don't recognize that they can do that and that they have that power and that strength that Dupre was talking about in numbers. So we want to invoke that spirit in people
Right.
to make sure that you are reaching out. You're not sitting back on your hands. Oh, woe is me. We don't get any support. Make those calls, send those emails, talk to your neighbors.
Right.
I mean, when I go on my mom's block, they all talking around that little median in the middle of the street
That's
over
right.
there.
That's
And
what's
they
up.
huddled up, and they have one of the people at the end of the block. They know how to get the street blocked off in the summertime to have that little cookout. So you should be using that as an opportunity
exactly.
to cascade and
Exactly.
communicate and find out what your block needs and reach
Exactly.
out to the appropriate
Exactly.
person.
Exactly.
So
All politics are local, man. Don't forget that. You know, and it kind of gets under my skin when I see people not really come out to the school board elections. The school board, if it's about our babies and we talking about their
We
future,
all have a
that should be
stake
the
in that.
highest turnout
Absolutely.
for voters in our city.
You're
absolutely.
right. Agreed.
But it's not. It's the lowest turnout.
Wow.
You know, and just people.
It speaks
you know,
volumes.
I think people say, "Oh, I voted for the president, but I ain't really voting for nobody around here." All politics are local.
It matters.
And they don't. But I think what happens is the biggest misconception. People don't understand that by not voting locally, you really handicapping yourself
Yes.
nationally.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand.
Yes, bro.
And they
Yes.
really don't
It's
get
all
that.
connected. It's all connected.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, I'm going to cut you, but if you don't vote locally, it's still the laws and the legislation are still going to affect you directly.
Exactly.
Whether you vote or not. And I'll
Exactly.
give you a small way to see it. You know, alternate side of the street parking. You didn't vote, but you didn't move your car when it was street cleaning. You're still getting the ticket.
Take it. Exactly.
When
Pay
you
them
could have
people their
voted,
money.
when you could have
Voted.
voted and fought for no, we don't want alternate side of the street
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't
parking
want
this
that.
time
Exactly.
or over here or over
Exactly.
there.
Exactly.
You could actually
Vote against it.
yes.
You know what?
And I tell people all the time, even when you're voting for these prosecutors and these judges.
Super facts.
Exactly. So when you look at these cities where a lot of these racial indifferences are happening, a lot of people don't vote. So what happens is you get a guy who probably, they always say they're not racial, but they prejudge when they see skin color and they're automatically attacking you because of that. And a lot of it is because we don't vote for these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
sorry for cut, but you know what it is? Basically, what you're saying is, as a taxpayer, make me work for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make me work for you. Like, don't sit here and say that I'm not doing nothing, or we put him in office and all of a sudden he doing his own thing. You ain't give me nothing to do. So of course I'm gonna force my own agenda.
Right.
You ain't bring nothing to me for me.
Right.
To
You know what
bring
they
the
say?
potholes and bring all that stuff.
A closed
bring-
mouth don't get fed.
There it is. Bring
Right.
it to me. Make me work. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, make us
Dupre,
work. man.
Dupre, we've been hearing a lot recently about a lot of big enterprise coming to Newark, and people are some people have pros and some people have cons. Give us kind of your 30,000-foot view. I know a lot of this is still in development. It's not, the ink's not dry, but what do you think about these big industries coming to Newark, and how will that help the constituents in the city?
Well, first of all, I'm not against outsiders coming into Newark if we hold them accountable.
All right. Sound like he preaching to me.
Right?
He got his suit on. He got
hold
the
them
suit on.
accountable. But I am against outsiders who come here with outside interests that don't include the interests of the inside.
All right.
We talked
all right,
about it, right?
salute.
We
Yes.
talked about it, right?
Absolutely.
I'm definitely against that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that, they did a report. I think it's called, they did an article that says who owns Newark or something like
Right.
that. 48% was owned by outside interests.
Wow.
And this is and I'm gonna take this back to get where I'm going. Back to the block organizations. If you become a nonprofit organization, a 501c3, right? And you're, I don't know, South Orange Avenue Block Association, and it's 20 of you guys, you incorporate under nonprofit status, there's a blighted property on that avenue. Okay. There's land banking options. There's so many ways that you guys can buy for pennies on a dollar that property.
Wow.
And you'll get first right to refusal to buy that property before an outside company can buy it, right? But we don't take advantage of that type of stuff. So when the other people come in and buy the property, we say, look, they just bought the property and they slumlords but you got the opportunity. You just got to go through the process and do the steps. See, one thing that we don't do, we don't like going through processes, and we don't like going through the steps. You know, so when somebody comes in and they have all of the bases covered, we get mad because they get the opportunity to purchase or buy.
But you've been sitting right here in the city all this time.
But if you, let's say the block organization buys that property, now you can sell it to who you want to sell it to.
At the price you wish to.
At the price you want. And now that money goes back into your neighborhood, because it goes to the nonprofit organization, the block association.
Exactly.
So we just have to learn all of that stuff. And it's probably cheaper for 20 people to buy one property than one person.
For sure.
You know,
for sure.
Even if it was a down payment of $20,000 and all of y'all came up with $1,000. I know we didn't partied $1,000 away in a month.
I'm guilty. I just got back off vacation.
Okay. So my point is, it's not impossible to do.
It's achievable.
Right. It's very achievable. You know, and we don't take advantage of those things, man. So let's stop complaining about people coming into our neighborhood.
Let's get activated, people. Let's get active.
Yeah, I think, too, that, you know, if you've been a part of Newark during its demise and during its down times, you should want to be included in this renaissance. Yeah. You should want to be.
Sense of responsibility to bring it back.
Right. You know, so when you talk about
especially when your kids out there tearing it down any damn
Yeah,
right.
And they get on that one.
Absolutely.
Don't start that one.
You know, so when you talk about big interest coming in, we have the power to stop them from coming in. Now, like once again, I'm not against outside coming in to help us, as long as we keep and hold them accountable for the things that they're doing, and we hold them to our culture and our things that we're trying to do. You know, that makes the city continue to move forward. And if it's not a part of that, then we don't have to let them in.
Wow, I like that. But that goes back again that the power rests with the city, right? It's not just the elected
people of the city.
With the people of the city. It's not the mayor. It's not the council people. It's really the voice of the people, the everyday people that's living next door to you. Miss Johnson, Miss Smith, you guys all have the power, and you're hearing it here first. Dupre, we want to jump to a question. We polled some of our listeners and our viewers, and we got some questions. And we got some questions from people from New Jersey, not just Newark, but we want to kind of focus on Newark. We want to talk about the reentry program. We've always heard a lot about the reentry program, various expungement programs. What can you socialize to the citizens of Newark about those programs and where they can find more information?
Like I said, you can go to the Newark website. You can find information at the Newark.org. But you can also, the Violence and Prevention program, the Office of Violence and Prevention, that's directed by, whose director is Lakeisha Uri. She does well with reentry.
Okay.
But see, it's not just about reentry too. It's about being proactive so that they won't go in the first place.
Okay.
But the people that come out, we have opportunities for them. You know, and some people, you know, they don't like the opportunities. Just to be honest, and I think that, you know,
are they not being realistic about the opportunities?
Yeah, I think that
they want to start here.
Yeah, they want to start in a place that they feel like they're entitled to start at.
So they just have to be a little bit more optimistic and just be real.
Right. You really have to be optimistic. So my nonprofit, 211 Community Impact, we are giving away $750,000 worth of scholarships. Starting, I'm doing a press conference tomorrow in front of my old house, 318 South 19th Street in the morning at 9:30 a.m. But these scholarships are given to the new trade schools.
Okay.
And what I mean is, you know, there's a new trade.
Yes.
You know, it's a new way. It's not just boiler fixing. It's not
HVAC.
It's not HVAC. It's not just being a regular auto mechanic. And nothing wrong with those jobs, right?
Very honorable fields.
Right.
It's
but
evolving.
It's not just that. You know. So now we're talking about we're paying people to go to class now at Rutgers for cyber security.
Yeah.
We're paying
They
for
doing coding and things like that, right?
Coding.
Yeah.
We're paying for healthcare. We're even paying people to be able to learn how to be a manufactured, licensed cannabis grower for the government. You know, things of that nature. So it's so many different things. Freight operation. You know, truck and travel. And, you know, marketing. Social media and influence marketing and things.
You know, that's big.
Podcast budget.
So, and I also made
we
sure
get that application.
Right.
Yeah,
I also
absolutely.
made sure that we included Jersey schools like Montclair, NJIT,
Absolutely.
Rutgers. You know, and we're partnering with a company out of Washington D.C. called Educapital.
Educapital.
They giving us I tried to get $1 million. That was my goal, to do $1 million. Right now I'm at $750,000, but $250 of that came from Educapital, and they're giving me a great partnership because they're also giving me, once you graduate from the program, we get to give the person who graduated $10,000 of business startup money.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
That's excellent. Salute
Wow.
to that.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Shout
dope.
out to Educapital.
And one of our other partners is Mac Borin. They make the diesel engines, the diesel engineering company. But they have evolved. They don't just make truck engines anymore. They make engines for submarines and truck engines engines for marine life and you know, big generators that's on top of skyscrapers in Manhattan. And they're giving me 18 scholarships, and it costs $30,000 to enter their program. Wow. So that's 18 scholarships for Newarkers at $30,000 a pop.
So there's resources out there, people. Resources out there for your young adults. You do not have to be sitting home behind the gaming system. That would be a good one to do a scholarship because they love to do the gaming.
We have it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
look at that. Gamers, come on out, gamers.
I can
come on
actually
out.
read all of the scholarships that we have, just in case, because we're about to open up the applications. Just in case
Listen, you getting it here on Goin Vocal. We giving it to you live.
That's right.
You getting it fresh off the presses. You don't have to get it off social media. You getting it right from the source. From the source. Right. Come on, people.
So don't call them Dupre either.
Yeah.
Put the accent on it.
Yeah, you saw he did that. You saw he did that with the pen.
So we at Rutgers, we're doing business scholarships for entrepreneurship, 9-month course that 211 will pay for, along with Educapital, real estate investing, business and cosmetology, project management, nonprofit management, and grant writing.
Awesome.
In the cannabis field, we're going to give this at Oaksterdam University and Greenleaf University to become a certified grower, to be a dispensary pharmacy technician, teaching you the business of cannabis so you can manage those places.
Yeah.
And cannabis culinary, you know, so you can learn how to
cook.
And
the food.
Oh, that's excellent.
Oh, wow.
And then healthcare at Lehman College, we're doing pharmacy technician, medical assistant, medical billing.
Pharmacy tech is good. I have that license.
Patient care technician. And technology, we're doing at NJIT, which is cybersecurity, certified ethical hacker. You know, the government hires hackers.
They do, right? Remember that movie?
Developers, you know, game design.
That's what I said. So the
graphic
gamers
design.
Sign my son up.
And transportation, we're doing at Georgia Southern University, which is you can become a freight broker. In marketing, we're doing at Montclair University for certified digital marketing, social media marketing, and influence marketing.
Wow.
And for the lifestyle, we're doing at New York Institute of Art and Design. Okay. We're going to do that at Lehman College as well. And you can become a certified wedding planner. It's a lot of money in big weddings.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Yes. Travel agent and event planners.
You can see the whole world.
Right. And we're doing construction and maintenance at Tyler Junior College in Midlands Tech. And you can learn how to build maintenance. You can become building maintenance supervisors, or you can become a welding technician. You know?
Listen, it's running the full gamut, people. I think what we've heard here shows that there's not a one track pony here. It's the full gamut. There's no reason why you cannot encourage your young people to even try one of these. Learn what they like to do. And it's all listed here, so there are opportunities. And I think the message that we've heard here today is there's a lot of information available to you. You just really need to be a little bit proactive, very proactive and consistent. There's information out there that you can utilize not only for yourself and the block you live in, but maybe you know somebody's son or daughter, because this is the graduation season, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people are graduating, moving on, moving up. There are opportunities out there. And we want to kind of, invoke that and inspire you to go out and check information. Mm-hmm. I know one of the other questions that came through is, people know you from your previous life, mm-hmm. In the entertainment field. Is that chapter closed, or is that always going to be there? How you going to manage that?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm doing this because I am hip hop.
Okay. I feel like that shirt need to get printed. Somebody print the shirt.
Somebody print the shirt. Never.
I love that.
Never.
I love that.
I can't. I believe politics hip hop has always been political.
Mm-hmm. It has.
From day one, and now hip hop gets a chance to, authentically and legitimately be at the table. Mm-hmm. And I'm just starting in my city. So my whole goal is, I had a conversation with Tupac Shakur probably over 21, over 20 years ago in Orlando, Florida, in a hotel. We was on tour with it was Tupac, it was Outkast, what was the
It was Digital Underground, wasn't it?
No, it was Tupac, Outkast, Janae, and Patra.
Ooh, Jamaican Patra. Okay.
And Pac came to the room one day, just to fast forward, and Pac was way before his time. He was just talking about how we need to stay where we lived at. Yeah. We need to stay where we lived. We need to. I think I got a meeting to go to.
Okay. All right. But, we wrapping up. Okay.
We gotta stay where you live at. Create youth initiatives in your city. And just to fast forward, he said, then we need to do something we don't want to do. And I'm like, what? He was like, man, we might have to become elected officials.
Wow.
And I was like, man, I'm a rapper.
That didn't resonate with you back then 20 plus years ago, right?
Boy, crazy. And I'm like, elected officials? He was like, yeah. Pat and Pop, every time he talks, he was super passionate about what he's talking about.
Right.
And he was like, man, I'm telling you, because we get to make laws. Them laws ain't made for us. Legislation is making the laws, man. We got to be the ones that make the laws for us. And I feel like I've done everything he asked of me, from creating nonprofits, from not moving out of my city, from starting youth initiatives and I've done everything except win the seat, and that's gonna happen this
on the 14th. Yeah, on the 14th.
Yeah. You know what's amazing though? Like, for anyone who's questioned your credibility, like, oh, he was a rapper, he was this and that.
I don't make him that. Yes,
we'll make him qualified, but as you can see, the conversation that we're having here today, he seems more qualified than
some of our previous candidates.
Than most of y'all ever thought he could be.
Right. And we appreciate your authenticity, being honest, speaking in the moment, speaking from your heart. We don't take that lightly. We want to be mindful of the hour. We knew Dupre is still canvassing, and there's a demand on his time. So we want to transition this part of the show into one of my favorite part of the show. My favorite part of the show.
We give the disclaimer. We have a segment of the show called "Get Your Shit Together," and Goin Vocal is you getting your shit together, because Goin Vocal is not just what you say; it's what you do. Right. So we tend to say when I leave that tag saying "keep going vocal," I mean keep doing up, not doing down. So you going vocal, you changing a life without judgment. We give this "Get Your Shit Together." We name names. We don't name names. It's whatever you want to do. But we tell somebody they need to get their shit together. So I will give you
an example of my "Get Your Shit Together" for this week. So, we've still been stricken with the pandemic, and a lot of things have been impacted. We've seen our gas prices soaring. Food costs are soaring. There's a lot of shortage on things. Unfortunately, there was a major shortage on baby formula, which has impacted a lot of families across the U.S. But now there is a new shortage, and as a woman, I'm taking this one a little personal. They are saying that feminine hygiene products, maxi pads, tampons are going to be a shortage of those, and they will not be able to produce them in the mass quantities that they have been traditionally. So I want to put that out there to women to take note of that. take note that the price is going to probably increase in the next few months, and those items will get very scarce. But I say to the manufacturers, you really need to get your shit together. How can you not produce these vital items that we need? These are necessities. How can you not find a way? We've been under this pandemic for 2 years, right? So we should have been able to evaluate our operations, know how to scale up and scale down. But to know that we are getting ready to hit a shortage, that is going to affect so many communities. And I think about the people who are economically deprived. If you raise those items $2 or $3, that may be completely out of the range for them. So I'm calling on those manufacturers to get their shit together and make sure that doesn't happen.
Or find out some black and brown people who own companies like that and start supporting them.
Exactly, because they're out there.
There's the challenge. There's the challenge.
That's a powerful thing. They're out there.
Lou, you got yours, LB?
Yes, I got mine.
Oh, he's firing somebody else. Somebody's gonna get it.
No, it's this. My Get Your Shit Together goes out to this Augustine Gladney.
Who's that?
She dumped her boyfriend's mother's ashes into the lake.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Augustine.
All because she thought he was cheating.
Augustine, yeah, you did. Augustine, you did.
Wild girl.
You
But she got some time, so she gonna get it together.
Yeah.
You will
She
not
was
be coming to
arrested.
the cookout.
She was definitely arrested, and it says here that it's a misdemeanor. It's a Class A misdemeanor in Texas that carries a $4,000 fine. So she is definitely jammed up. She's definitely jammed up for that situation. So
Jam, let's quickly roll into yours, and then let's let Dupre close us out with
my
his.
Get Your Shit Together.
Right now,
my get your shit together is going out to Coach Jack Del Rio of the Washington Commanders. If you don't know, Jack Del Rio went into the press and actually on Twitter and was saying that he's tired of hearing about the White House being attacked. It was just a dust up. Unbeknownst to him, most of your players are black, and he compared it to the George Floyd with people rioting. In this situation, people lost their lives. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it was more just a dust. That's a terroristic act. They attacked their own.
And it's hella insensitive.
Yeah, very insensitive. So, needless to say, the Washington Redskins fined him $100,000. Justly so.
So we're gonna let Dupre close us out. Dupre, do you have a Get Your Shit Together you want to share?
I got a couple of Get Your. First of all, I just want to say to anybody who lives in Newark, if you're still throwing trash out your windows, but then you complaining that the street cleaning is not happening, get your ish together.
Get it together.
If you don't vote for school board or regular voting, but you complain that nobody in school better touch my child, why they talking to my child like that, and you don't even go meet your teachers and all that,
shame on you.
Get your ish together.
Get it together. Get it together.
Get your in the residents. If you don't vote, but you complain about what's happening on your block and you're not involved in the city or what's going on, man, get your ish together.
Get it together, people. Listen, we want to thank Dupre. We want to wish him well.
So
if you tell them where they need to go to vote, where they can contact you at, Dupre.
You can contact me on Instagram at doitall4Newark, and that's FOR Newark at at Instagram, at doitall4Newark. That's Twitter, at doitall4Newark. That's Facebook, at doitall4Newark. And my private IG is doitall, is DOITALLDU at the end, doitall. Hit me up, man. You can definitely get in contact.
And listen,
with
go
me.
out and vote if you're in the city of Newark. Let's
get
out and vote.
Yes,
let's get out
West
and
Ward,
vote.
Let's go, man.
Let's go stand
and
up.
We get the opportunity to make history. I mean, this is just when we win, this is just kind of a gift. You know, we will be the first platinum selling hip hop artist to ever win an elected official.
Yes, come on,
Let's
stand up,
in the
stand
United
up,
States
community,
of America,
stand
in
up.
the nation, because Sean beat us on the global one. But,
Okay.
But we still have an opportunity to make history, and
be part of that history, people.
Right. King Gibson once said, you know, as Newark goes, so does the nation. So let's do it first, man.
Yo, and with that being said,
let me say this real quick. Salute to just the hip hop culture stepping up and leading the way, because I think that's going to make the change. Let's start locally to go internationally to global.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's do what we do.
It's not even about me. This is way bigger than me.
Spread the
super
love.
way bigger than me. I just want to do like Pac said and spark the person that's really going to change the world.
Nice.
And we just have it starting right here in Newark, New Jersey, man.
Yeah. And with that said, people, you know what we always say every week. If you're not going vocal, what you really
What are you
doing,
doing?
people? Peace. We
Peace.
out.
Peace.